Good morning. This is KELOLAND on the go with all you need to know in news and weather as you start your day.
At least 5 school districts in South Dakota received threats of an active shooter yesterday, including Mitchell High School.
A call came into Mitchell Regional Dispatcher business line around 9:20 yesterday morning. Law enforcement agencies were on scene at the school within minutes, and the report was determined to be false.
By the time that the police had arrived and notified us, it had already been determined to be a false report. So initially, the high school principal intercommed all his people, told them what to do and lock their doors and those kinds of things. But almost immediately, we knew it was not an actual report.
A letter was sent to students, staff, and parents of the Mitchell School District later in the day explaining the situation. You can find it attached to this story right here on KELOLAND.com.
A chase that started on the west side of Sioux Falls ended with a crash near Rice Street and Cleveland Avenue on the northeast side of the city. Officers tell KELOLAND News the suspects struck a police vehicle along Marion Road and took off.
Several agencies chased after the driver before the crash. Authorities say the suspect is a parole absconder and will likely be charged. The crash caused a few traffic problems, including a school bus that tried to turn around but became stuck on Cleveland Avenue. A Sioux Falls police officer is recovering from injuries after being hit by a car last night. The officer was investigating a report of someone selling stolen property near 10th Street and Kiwanis Avenue.
The officer chased a female suspect who got into a running car, took off and hit the officer, then sped away. The suspect's car was tracked down to a neighborhood near Spellerberg Park. Numerous officers converged on the area and with the help of a police canine, located 2 women hiding on the property.
A KELOLAND videographer was there as police used a battering ram to gain access to a garage. The 2 women were arrested on numerous charges. The extent of the officers' injuries has not been released. A grand jury has decided there's enough evidence to charge Chris Faume with 9 counts of sexual contact with a child. The Sioux Falls man is accused of touching children at the Kids Are Kids child care center on the south side of the city.
Court documents say the crimes involved 6 children and the incidents were captured on surveillance camera. The alleged victims are 3- and 4-year-old children. He is currently in jail and is no longer employed by the child care center.
Now let's get a check of our weather with meteorologist Brian Karstens. Good morning, Brian.
All right, good morning, guys. Good morning, everybody. Weather today, still chilly out there. Temperatures likely holding into the 40s this afternoon north of Sioux Falls, where we start with a little mention of snow into Minnesota. Yeah, it's been snowing today in the Twin Cities and over to St. Cloud. The extent of that into South Dakota, minimal, but it's still worth at least a mention here of a couple of flurries. Wind gusts the last 24 hours, 60 miles per hour at Pierre. We had a lot of wind yesterday. The hope is today it'll go down some. It's not gone. Still 20 to 40 there in our forecast. Rapid City still gusting to 50 miles per hour, but a warmer high at 67. Sioux Falls and Aberdeen will be toned back. Generally a lot of 20 to 30 mile an hour winds this afternoon. Closer look at the weekend forecast is coming up.
Thank you, Brian. A young man is home safe after getting stuck in a cave for almost 18 hours.
Late last week, the Custer County Search and Rescue was called about someone stuck in a cave in the Black Hills. Professional cavers were called in to make the remarkable rescue.
These amazing cavers doing what they can do. I have so much respect for them, and I'm proud of the work that they did.
Really worked great.
By having a plan, bringing all the right equipment, and knowing who to call in case of emergency, cavers can also avoid situations like this. Firefighters across the country are coming together to promote fire prevention.
This week marks 100 years of Fire Prevention Week in the United States. It's a time when national fire protection agencies partner with fire stations from across the country to promote the use of smoke alarms and making sure families have a fire safety plan.
You know, for firemen, we're usually there on their worst day. You know, we're either for a medical call or they have a fire in their home. So to be actually at their home, talking to them when there's not an emergency and just hearing their issues and having us just tell them what we do for the community and the different options they have for us.
This week, local firemen installed 150 smoke alarms in homes across the community. The Amazon Fulfillment Center in Sioux Falls is up and running. And Thursday, we got our first look inside.
Tim Choate started as a picker and worked his way up within Amazon. He's now the general manager in Sioux Falls. Choate is anxious to see the center ramped up because it'll have an impact on Amazon customers across KELOLAND.
To the person sitting at home, they can click on Amazon and we will have that item to you within the next shipping day. That's something we weren't able to deliver here, but with this capability, we're going to deliver it to this area.
The Sioux Falls facility will operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and are now hiring workers. If the wind and cold aren't enough, here's another sure sign that winter is around the corner. Oktoberfest at Great Bear Ski Valley.
The popular winter sports destination in Sioux Falls will start selling season passes today. Purchase of a pass allows you to participate in one of Great Bear's new programs, Season Pass Sundays.
At 6 o'clock on Sunday nights, not including holidays, we'll be open for 2.5 hours just for season pass holders and as well for our employees. You know, the employee experience is very important to us. You know, give the team members an opportunity to come out and enjoy the area where they work.
The sale starts today and continues through the end of October. Great Bear Ski Valley has a target opening date of December 22nd. That's a look at some of our top stories.
Now let's get one last look at your weather with meteorologist Brian Karstens. Brian?
All right, our weather today, we've got those 30s and 40s this morning out there in eastern KELOLAND, 50-degree weather for parts of the west. And we're still going to be warmer today in Rapid City. Note the trend, too, with a little moisture at times. A couple of sprinkles and some spotty showers are developing in kind of a thin band there west of Pier. Those kind of talking points aren't going to amount to a lot of moisture, but it is worth the mention there. And then also all of this in Minnesota that's stirring up underneath that big circulation low. The possibility, we'll put it that way. I won't use the word opportunity, but, you know, just to mention a few snowflakes from Watertown to Marshall, can't rule that out today, given the scenario at hand. Sioux Falls, we're forecasting a high at 51. When you have the wind out of the northwest, though, at 20 to 35, it does not feel that warm. And then tonight, we'll lose some of the wind. We're going to drop back into the 30s tomorrow morning east of the James Valley. In fact, Huron and Mitchell might even drop back in the upper 20s, but then we'll get a nice bounce back to some 60s. The Pheasant Opener are there about noon, looking at 62 in winter, 61 Chamberlain. Don't forget there's more northwest winds, and it'll be enough that at least steady winds, 15 to 30 during the afternoon. Gusts will be higher, and then by Sunday we start to cool it down, and that will, of course, set the tone for early next week. 44 our high today, Brookings and Marshall. 60s will be found in the west. Let's jump to your 7-day forecast. Through and through, not much rain or snow chance. Moisture's limited here. We've got 45 Monday. Tuesday could be in the 40s for highs. We'll continue to watch the timeline on how slowly that's going to exit out of here. But then by the end of the 7-day forecast, we should get back to 60. And I still think there's plenty of room to grow with temperatures even warmer just outside the 7-day forecast. So if you're a fan of some of those warmer numbers, well, in these dry cycle years like this one, there's opportunity quickly to bounce back. Dry air is much easier to swing back and forth. So when we see the downhill slide like Aberdeen on Monday, 44, I hope we don't have to cut that any more than we have already, but low to mid-20s at night looks to be really likely. And Tuesday, hopefully back to some 50s, but that's in somewhat jeopardy there. I would say for Pier and Rapid City, also that decline early next week. Back to the 60s as early as Wednesday and Thursday. And Rapid City after 50-degree weather. Sunday, Monday, we're back to some warmer 60s as early as Tuesday. Find out more details on that weather online at KELOLAND.com.